Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see some of you have already joined. So I'll probably just request for 5 minutes just to give opportunity for those who are intending to join us, and then at exactly 3:05 we can begin. In the meantime, if there's any questions, please feel free to let us know. We are happy to address them, and then we can kickstart the webinar exactly at 3:05. Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. I think it's safe for us to start the webinar. So I don't think we've received any questions. It's safe for us to begin. So first of all, I just want to start by appreciating all of you for your attendance. And something to note, this webinar will be doing it a bit differently, just to accommodate time for the new feature we've recently launched for the solar dryers. So for this session today, yes, we're going to cover FarmCloud, but the bigger part of it is going to go to the new feature, which is the dryers. So I'll walk you through the each and every feature of FarmCloud and give room for any questions, and then we can now start the a deep dive on the new feature. So ideally, as you know before, main function of FarmCloud is to record your daily farm activities to ensure that what you do from the beginning, from your nursery where you're propagating your seeds to planting, to scouting, to harvesting, to where you sell with your buyers, to you generating invoices, FarmCloud is able to accommodate that. So to start us off, normally is usually the registration process. We're going to attach the link. If you don't have an active account, you're going to attach a link for you to register for FarmCloud. But let me begin with now briefly explaining each and every feature so that we leave room to cover the dryer section. So on FarmCloud, the first step is usually to do the inventory in your account. And the inventory is usually done on the farm assets section. Under the farm assets section, you have three options, that is farm element, farm inventory, and dryers, which will be covered later on. So let's focus on farm element and farm inventory. Under farm element, this is the section where we indicate the different type of structures we have in the farm. If it's a greenhouse, a shade net, an open field, this is the section to indicate that. And also something to note, if you can just head over to just 1 minute. And additionally, while I'm explaining, I'm with my colleague Sam. So if there's any questions, just feel free to post them. We are happy to address them. So as mentioned earlier, we have the farm asset section where we indicate the different type of structures we have in your farm and the specific crops being grown in those structures. So once you've added your structure, once you tap on the name of the specific structure, it will give you the option to add a plant. So you select add a plant and add the specific plant that you're growing according and also with the variety. Let me select an existing. So as you can see, so once you add a plant, you're going to get the information that you've keyed in, the specific plant, the variety, the date, the stage, and the quantity planted. Another thing to note, we have the seedling section. So if you do propagation, we've accommodated that as well. You can have a complete record of the seeds that you're propagating, the specific variety, the lot quantity, and the quantity metrics. So as you record your daily activities, you already have the initial information. So that actually sums up the farm element section. Another bit of keying in the initial setup, we have the farm inventory section. So under farm inventory is where we'll indicate what is the average stock of fertilizers, agrochemicals, and also seedlings that we have. So specifically for fertilizers and agrochemicals, it's just indicating um, at the moment I have 50 kgs of ammonia fertilizer, and if you'd love to restock, this is the section. So for your farm inputs, this is the section to do the inventory. As you can see, we have this new feature, which is the seedling section. As mentioned earlier under farm assets, you need to have a record of all the seeds you intend to propagate. So it's just keying in information. You indicate this, the seedling name, the variety, the lot details, so that when you go back to farm elements, you already have the information in your inventory. So ideally, farm assets is just keying in data into the account. I think you can head over to daily work reports. So under daily work report, just as the name suggests, these are the daily activities that we get to undertake in the farm. So we have fertilizer application, we have agrochemicals, we have scouting, we have manual irrigation, we have pre-harvest, harvest, and other. So something to note, um, for each and every report, you have to attach it to an element. And remember, an element is a structure. So if you're applying the fertilizer in your plain house, in your open field, depending on the case, you have to attach it to an element. Once you've attached it to an element, let me select a different one. Once you attach it to an element, you need to, this is now under seed propagation. Seed propagation, the planting stages are different. That's why you're seeing it's less. So we have germination and maturity. Let me select a different one. That's for normal plants. Okay, as you can see, if you're doing propagation, the stages you'll get is germination and maturity. But if you are normal planting, you're not propagating, these are the various stages you'll get. So you select the specific stage that you're in, the fertilizer that you're applying, the date of application, time of application, quantity that you're applying, you can have it as 10 kgs, method used, and then attach any applicable notes. So something to note under the fertilizer report, you can add as many reports as possible just to make the work easier for you. Um, The only reports that you're allowed to add multiple reports at the same time is fertilizers, agrochemicals, and harvest reports. You can attach as many reports as possible. So just to cover briefly, so what you've done for fertilizer is the exact same thing you do for agrochemicals. As for scouting report, is just basically what were you able to see while at the farm? Is there fruiting? Is there pest infestation? Is there flowering? Whichever the case, and will follow the same prompt of attaching it to a specific structure. You select the variety, the stage, the date, you give a brief description, and under scouting you're allowed to attach an image just for better reference, and you can add any additional notes. And then you have manual irrigation. Manual irrigation is basically what's the amount of water you irrigated for on that specific day, time, etc. Again, attach it to a specific structure, select the plant, the stage, the dates, the time of irrigation, how long did you irrigate, the quantity. We have options like liters, milliliters, but gallons, but definitely, yeah, you choose the right quantity. And the method used, was it drip irrigation, was it sprinkling, was it flood irrigation? Depending on the case, you attach it and then you save your reports. Heading over to pre-harvest report. So pre-harvest report is a bit unique compared to the other reports, but mainly is just to see are you ready for harvesting or there's something you need to rectify before you can proceed with harvesting. So same steps will be followed of attaching it to a structure and a plant, the stage and the date. You have this checklist. So depending on the reality on your farm, you can now if it's a yes or if it's a no. Once you're done, you can attach any applicable notes that might be useful. If everything is okay in your farm, you will just proceed with taking the right section and then you add. Before we cover harvest report, I'd love for us to cover other. So part of what is highlighted here are not all the activities undertaken in a farm. So if there's any other special activities you'd love to indicate in your farm, you will classify it under other reports. The only difference with the other reports compared to the ones highlighted is that you have to give your report a name. That's the only difference. All the other steps you will follow the same procedure. So you just give it a name. So that specific report that you're doing, if it's plowing, you indicate plowing, you attach it to a structure, a plant, the date, you give a brief description, and also you can attach images for further reference. So lastly, the daily work reports. We have the harvest report. So harvest report is ideally the last step because definitely you're harvesting. So like I mentioned earlier, under harvest report, you get to attach as many reports as possible. So again, you attach it to a specific structure. You select the plants, the date of harvesting, the time of harvesting. So the harvest quantities, either we've given you this section. This is actually a request from our clients. They requested we have various options when it comes to recording the harvest report. So you'll either select if it's in tons, if it's in kgs, if it's in pounds, if it's in bags, crates, bunches, bales, depending on the case, and then you attach it. So if you're doing seed propagation, you also have the section for seedlings. So you can attach high quality harvest, low quality harvest, and harvest loss. So these two are quite optional. So if it doesn't apply, you can leave it blank and just fill in the high quality harvest section. As mentioned, you can attach as many reports as possible. Another thing to include is that under the daily work report, we provide you with the traceability report. So if your buyers require compliance for what you've done, you can provide compliance through the traceability report. So you'll select the specific structure you'd love to get information about. Once you've selected the structure, you'll select the variety, and then you select a specific report you'd love to share for compliance. If it's fertilizer, if it's harvest report, and then you can export it as a PDF, and it is going to be downloaded in your device. So yeah, that actually sums up the farm assets and daily work reports. I think we can, I'd love to know if there's any questions from anyone before we can proceed to weather and satellite and then cover the rest. If there are no questions, you can feel free to share a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So maybe we can cover the satellite feature. So under weather and satellite feature, just to summarize it and to make it easy, is where you get the weather forecast, and also with the help of satellite imagery, you're able to analyze how healthy your crops are doing with the help of indices. So we do have for for weather information, you get a focus of hourly, daily, and historical weather. And for historical weather, you can backtrack up to 1 year. And for satellite information, you use the indices to to get more details. And just to simplify it, indices we classify them into two. Ones that monitor moisture levels and others that monitor the healthiness of the crops. To be specific, for the healthiness of the crops, we have NDVI, EVI, EVI2, and NRI. And for the moisture levels, we look at DSWI and NRI. Yes. So ideally, that sums up the weather and satellite feature. Okay. So next we can cover function. So for function is our smart device that is used to automate irrigation and monitor environmental conditions. So if you have this device in your farm, we'll link it to FarmCloud so that you can be able to view that data on FarmCloud as well. So it's only applicable if you have the device already installed in your farm. If you don't, no information is going to be displayed here. Okay, we can cover the market place. So marketplace has been one of the features that have been really requested by clients. And summarize it on the marketplace. If you are a buyer and there is produce you need, you will come and request for a quotation. Why you seeing no quotations available is that we need to verify buyers before we can fully post them on the account. So thorough verification needs to be done before we can post it. So a buyer request for a quotation. So if you're a farmer and whatever the buyer is requesting for you is in line, you can you can attach your quotation. Once you attach your quotation and you are the buyer are in agreement, an order is going to be made. And according to how you had agreed, if it's payment on delivery, you'll pay them after 30 days, business is going to be conducted. But this is a new feature that we recently launched. If you're a buyer and you'd love to have access to our farmers produce, kindly feel free to let us know or just drop us your email at the chat box and then we can engage further after the webinar. So to touch on something, let's touch on farm stuff because there's a new feature we had developed. So under farm stuff, many clients had requested that they'd love to limit access to some users in their account. And part of the most requested feature was the accounting feature. So farm owners requested that they wouldn't want everyone to have access to their financial records. So now moving forward, if you can manage permissions of your users. So once you tap on manage permissions, you can either allow them to view the accounting information or restrict it so that whenever they go to accounting, they'll be informed that they do not have access to view information in that page. Okay, so to summarize accounting, because it comes as a bundle, we have products and services, we have income, expenses, and buyers. So the first step is usually under products and services. So once you've generated a harvest report, it is going to automatically populate on the products and services section because the system assumes anything that's recorded under products and services is going to generate income in your farm. So harvest being part of it, which is automatically done for you. So if you have any other activities that you do in your farm that generates income, if there's anything else you sell, if you package things for farmers and they pay you for that, you can indicate that under products and services. And then income is usually the section whereby we generate invoices and confirm that we've received payment. Under expenses, just as the name suggests, the cost incurred, and they are usually classified into two: general, which covers, as the name suggests, general expenses in the farm, things like water bills, electricity bills, rent, those are classified under expenses. Now we have element specific expense. If you can remember when we were talking about the various structures, so if you have a greenhouse and an open field or you have several greenhouses, you might find the cost incurred to take care of a certain crop is not the same amount as you used for a different crop. So you can separate those expenses just to have a clear record of uh, how each and every element money is being spent. And then lastly, we have buyers. So under buyers is also part of inventory, just recording, having general information of buyers you're in business with, so that when you're generating an invoice, you can attach it to a specific buyer. I know that was quite quick illustration of FarmCloud, but we want to at least save time to cover the new feature, which is dryers. So briefly, I'll just give room for any questions. If there's any feature someone would want us to go in depth on it, I'm happy to address it, and then I'll briefly introduce the solar dryer. Okay, so we've gotten an someone there are some few questions. So someone has more like comments rather. So someone has mentioned that they'd love to have a recording for this. So yes, so every month after every webinar, we usually post the recording on our YouTube channel and it's also shared on our newsletter. So definitely there is going to be a recording. Another thing someone has asked, is the marketplace active? Yes, it's very active. So if you're a buyer, please let us know because farmers are already available inside the platform. So if you're a buyer, just feel free to reach out to us, share your email, and then we can engage further. Okay, so there's a question here for the weather and satellites. How do I map my farm so I can view? So just to quickly take you through it, mapping a farm is actually quite easy. So what you'll do when you're at weather and satellite, you will tap here, create a farm boundary. Once you're at create a farm boundary, you're going to search your location. So if you're not able to locate the exact location of your farm, you can just use a famous landmark. So let me just, I'll just, this is just for illustration. So once assume we've already located our farm, you need to tap on this icon, and once you tap on the icon, it's going to give you an illustration of what that icon does. If you tap on that icon, it's going to inform you, draw a polygon, and you're going to have a plus sign. So you draw according to where your farm is. Once you're done, you'll give that block a name. So we can have it as block webinar, and then you attach it to a specific element. Sorry, you attach it to a specific open field. So I don't know if that's so the last step is usually on create. So you tap on create and it is going to attach that new farm boundary. I don't know if that's clear or there's any further explanation needed on that. So if there is, just feel free to let me know. We'll be happy to address it. So there's another question. What's the YouTube channel name? So if you just go to YouTube and search Cinefa, it is going to route you to our YouTube page. Okay, someone had raised their hand. Just 1 minute. Hello everyone. My apologies. I was muted the entire time. So just to address the question someone had asked, I'm a farmer from Transoia. My concern is on the government subsidized fertilizer. The planting fertilizer is half the micronutrients to meet the required micronutrients. You will need to apply 250 kg bags of fertilizer at the cost of 5,500 shillings. For a person like me who knows fertilizer calculation, I don't see any subsidy. So, in this case, how I can address this? FarmCloud, according to what you did to your farm, is what you're going to record on FarmCloud. So, as mentioned, if you apply 250 kg bags of fertilizer, that is what you need to record on FarmCloud. So, I don't know if that really addresses your question. If not, just feel free to share follow-up questions and we'll be able to address it. So we have a follow-up question on the what is the cost of FarmCloud. So we are going to address that to share the cost of FarmCloud with different packages. Another follow-up question was on the satellite. So does it mean the farm boundaries will be created for each crop? No. So the farm boundaries, you create a farm boundary according to the size of your farm. The whole idea behind a farm boundary, because we cannot attach specifically to a crop. So if you have several farms, let's say you have a farm in Nairobi, you have a farm in Nakuru, or they are not in the same place. But if it's just a huge piece of land that's 5 or 10 acres, you will plot that boundary. But if it's in different locations, that's when you need to create separate boundaries. Something to add on, boundaries needs to be attached to the crop. So once you create a block, let's say you have block coffee, you have block tomatoes, so each and every, yes, ideally, actually, to answer your question, yes, you can attach it to each and every crop, but I wouldn't want to say crop. I'd rather say block. So you can attach each and every farm boundary to the specific block. So if you have several blocks for different crops, so each and every boundary will be accommodated for each and every block. I hope that answers the question. Okay, I think those were all the questions asked. If none, I think we can proceed to the solar dryer section. Okay. So part of our innovation is the smart solar dryer. The main idea behind the smart solar dryer was to curb post-harvest losses and also to ensure that to provide an environmental friendly solution. So, what usually happens, for our solar dryer, ideally what you get, is definitely the outer structure, and then you're going to get the solar panel, grid. You're also going to get the fans and ventilators. You're also going to get farm shield. Let me just show you here. So you get the greenhouse solar there, which is going to be the outer structure. You're going to get functional IoT sensors, which has temperature and humidity sensor. You're also going to get the solar power grid. Part of the things you're going to get also is going to be FarmCloud. So in order for you to view the information of what is happening in your solar dryer, you're able to view it in FarmCloud. What we are about to do, and then to add on you get racks where you're going to place your produce. So what is the process behind our solar dryer is once you place your produce and drying is taking place, so does evaporation, and when evaporation takes place it makes the area quite humid. And if it's too humid, it now hinders the process of drying. So this is where our technology comes in. Function which has temperature and humidity sensor. So it's able to note when humidity levels are above the optimum set level, it's going to trigger the fans and eradicate the humid air, ensuring what remains inside is dry and hot. So there's continuous drying. Um, Maybe I can just touch on the various sizes of solar dryers we offer. So we offer various sizes. The smallest size being 4 meters by 10, which you're looking at drying a standard quantity of 330 kgs. We also have 8 meters by 15. Are you looking at drying 2 tons? We also have 8 meters by 30. We're looking at drying 4 tons, and we have 16 meters by 30, looking at drying 8 tons. So I just wanted to provide an overview of what our solar drive entail, and then now we can do a deep dive. Now you can have a better overview in FarmCloud as well. So I don't think there's any question. Okay. Maybe I can answer the question on the cost of FarmCloud before we can uh, get into the dryers section on FarmCloud. Let me just address on the pricing. So FarmCloud comes in various packages. You have the bronze package, which is free. You get one farm and one user. We have the silver package. So silver package accommodates 5 farms and 5 users. And for the silver package goes for $90. But the $90 is not monthly, it's for 3 months because our subscription goes for 3 months. Since it's crop production, 3 months ideally makes the most sense. And then you have the gold package. Gold package accommodates 20 farms and 20 users, and this one goes for $299 dollars. And then lastly, we have the platinum package. So platinum is when your request requires to be customized. Let's say you only have 5 farms, but you want us to have but you want to have 30 users inside the account. That's going to be a customized package. And something to note, you can access these paid packages on a trial period. We do provide a trial period of 30 days for you to use the platform before you can fully subscribe, before you can fully submit to a subscription. Yes. Okay. Before we can tackle the pricing bit of solar dryers, maybe we can just leave room for my colleague to come and give an in-depth of solar dryers now on FarmCloud. Yes. In the meantime, for any questions that you have, please feel free to attach them. We'll be happy to address them. Okay, so someone has requested to see the sizes of the solar dryers. So as mentioned, we have the 4 meters by 10, 8 meters by 15, 8 meters by 30, and 16 meters by 30. So let me just attach the link for reference, and then I can invite my colleague to proceed. Okay, and to everyone, we've sent out the link to view more information on the solar dryers. Yes. Um, so I think I can invite my colleague to proceed with the next step. If there's any questions, just feel free to post them. We'll address them.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samuel, and I am co-host alongside Stacy. And let me welcome you once again to our monthly FarmCloud webinar, where we discuss how you can maximize your farm's potential and reduce post-harvest losses. So, as Stacy has highlighted, we do have Farm Shield in FarmCloud. Give me a minute. Yes. So for farm shield, right now we have two types of farm shield. We have an aeration device that is the one which is used in the solar dryers, and then we have the IoT sensors, which is now the farm shield itself, that is used for irrigation and precision farming. So for solar dryer, it is different from the farm shield in that the solar dryer only has the drying sensors. It doesn't do the irrigation bit of the farm shield. So what it does is it records the drying process. That is the temperature of the greenhouse, and it sends that data to FarmCloud. So once you request for solar dryer from Singapore, our engineering team comes to your farm. They build the greenhouse and now they install the solar dryer. Once the solar dryer is installed on FarmCloud, it is assigned to your account. That is your FarmCloud account from the Singapore side. So once you log into your account, you'll see that you have a solar dryer device which you can rename, and now you have a farm shield device. Then once you have your solar dryer device, for you to record now your daily drying activity and also the unloading of the batches inside your dryer, we created this dryer module, which I'll take you through it. So as you can see, we have our dryer name. So the dryer name is named automatically when it was being assigned by Singapore. So you can rename this. And now we have the ID, which is the device, which shows the type of the device is a solar dryer, and the active crops that are inside the dryer. Then the number of harvest, the harvest is the unloads that you've done uh, inside the dryer for a given crop, and then the capacity and the status. So the cell is inactive if you aren't growing, or you aren't drying any crop inside your dryer. Then the date of registration is the time the dryer was assigned to you. So here we can come and edit our dry information, and then we can say our capacity is um, say 60 square meter. This is for demonstration purposes. Then you can have a description. Let's say in this period you are drying like say coffee, so you can say coffee solar dry. Then you save. Then now the next process is you are recording crops that you are going to dry in form of batches inside your solar dryer. So you click the link to the dryer page. Then you see that this is the device, this is the dryer information, and as you can see, we don't have yet any crop that we are growing inside the solar dryer. So we have to add a crop. Then for crop, say let's say coffee, and if the crop you are drying inside the dryer isn't available the list of plants currently in the platform. You can request Stacy and the plant will be added and you'll be able to track it. And then the plant variety. Now the batch information, batch is like a section of the entire variety that you are drawing. Let's say you have like uh, 10, 10 batches. 10 batches is like 10 separate segments of the plant variety that you are drawing. So you have to record the batch name, then the drying start date. You can say tomorrow. And then for the weight entry mode, we have two ways you can record the weight. You can either record the total weight, or you can untoggle this button and you can record the number of bags in that batch and the weight per bag. And then the total weight will be automatically calculated for you. So let's say you have 50, you have like 10 is too much. Say like five bags, and the weight for one bag is 60 kgs. And then you have the batch quality. Batch quality is optional. You'll find in cases where um, you know beforehand the quality of the crop you are drying, so you have to record it over here. It is optional, and then you add the crop. So once you add the crop, you'll add the crop information on the batch, the initial batch for that crop. So you add. Now once it has been added, you'll see that we have the crop here and the variety, the total batches. These are the batches that are being grown, are being dried rather, inside the dryer currently. And then quality checks are reports and batch unloads are also reports. Now let me create another subsequent batch for this crop. So you can press these action buttons and then you'll be able to add a batch. Then batch identifier, you can say code batch 2, then the date, let's say 29, and then the total weight. This time let's add like the total weight, say 200 kg. Then we leave this optional. Then we add. Now you can see that our crop has two batches which are being dried currently. Now we can, after we have added the batches for a given crop inside the solar dryer, you have to perform routine checks for your batches to come and check whether the drying has reached the quality of the dried product that you want. So you have to record every time you do a quality check for your product, you have to record the quality checks. And now the solar dryer records the atmosphere checks for moisture for inside the solar dryer itself. So here we'll have to view the info of a batch. And then you can see now we have this is the dry information, the crop information, and the timeline. Then we have for this batch we do have quality reports and batch unload reports. So quality reports, as I have said, are the reports that are created every time you go to do a checkup on how far the drying process is. Then the unload reports are the reports that you create as the farm owner or the farm manager when you want to make sure that the drying process has been completed for that batch, or if the drying process is not complete, if you want to record that you have unloaded a section of uh, the total weight that you had recorded in the drying phase, the initial phase for drying. So you can record the unload reports here. Let me show you how the quality report looks like. So you press this log report button, and then you have quality check report and batch unload report. So you say a quality check report, and then you have to uh, record the date. As you can see, the drying date hasn't started yet. So once the drying date has started, you'll be able to create a record for your quality checks for that given batch. So you have to select the date. Uh, we will have selected like today, 27th, but we haven't yet started drying. And then the product readings. So our product readings is now when you go to measure the reading of the product that you are drying. you have to measure the temperature and also the moisture content of that product. So if it is coffee, the coffee berries, you will record the temperature and the moisture content of that crop. Then you have to record notes. Notes are mandatory, like your observation notes, and then you have to attach, which is optional, uh, an image. If you take an image, you can attach it in the form, and then you press continue, and you'll be able to create the report. The next type of report is the batch and load report. Now, for batch and load report, as I have mentioned, is the report that you create when you are going to unload a given section or the entire batch from the drying bed. Let's say the drying has been completed, so this is the kind of report that you should fill up when you are unloading the batch. So once again, you haven't started drying, so I'll take you through the form. Then you have the harvest date, the date of the unloading. Then you have the output quantity, the total weight, or you can record the output quantity in number of bags or weight per bag, and then select the drawing quality. We have options from 1 to 5, 1 being very poor and 5 being excellent. And then the moisture content, you have to record it here. And then any notes that you wish to note down as you record the batch and load report, and then you press continue and up to the review, and then you save. Then your reports will appear. For quality reports, they will appear here. For batch and load reports, they will appear here. Now, once you have been um, completely sure that this is the last report of the batch and load report, you can complete the batch through this button. You just press the button and you'll have a confirmation dialog that asks if you're sure this is the last batch for this crop, and then you'll be able to record that harvest and complete the entire drying process for that given batch. That marks the end of the drying process entirely. The other actions that you can perform are editing actions for the batch. You can edit the batch over here. You can edit the date and the batch name, the weight entry mode, and you can also add batch quality if later on, maybe during the initial creation part, you didn't create a batch quality. You can come back later and you can record it. So if we go back, we see we have now to provide an overview, we have the device, we have the crop and batches. So you'll have the batches over here, and then for batches you can view the info or you can edit the batch. Also for batches, you can, instead of going to the actions table, you can click here the batch name and it will take you to the batch detail page where you'll be able to record the reports. That is for quality reporting, batch and load reports. If you have a question, kindly don't hesitate to ask so that I can clarify anything that you would like me to know. If there is no question, let me get a thumbs up so that I can proceed. Right. So, just to recap, as I have noted initially, for dryers, you will have to reach out to Stacy for the dryers so that our team can come to your farm and create the solar dryer inside that farm. And then once that is done, they'll be able to assign you the dryer from FarmCloud so that you can do the tracking and the records from the comfort of your home. For those of us who don't yet have a dryer, the solar dryer itself, you can do the manual recording yourself. So as you come here, you can register a new dryer. So when you register a new dryer, you can call it a manual dryer, and the date installed today, say yesterday, and then the dryer capacity you can say is 40 square meter. The temperature unit is the unit of measurement that you will be using inside the dryer, so you can say degrees Celsius, and the moisture unit, let's say percentage, and now you can say a manual dryer without fire dryer device. Then you continue. So once you create your manual dryer, you'll see that it doesn't have a device. Now you'll have to record with the recordings manually. You'll have to create the batch, the crop and the batches again, as I have shown you. And now the entire process is just the same. Let me take you through once more. Just to say batch identifier, date, total weight, then we add crop. Now once we've added the crop, we have to add the batch during the initial creation phase. So we have the crop, the variety, the total batches. Now we can create quality report for this batch. You can say view info, and then we create a quality report. So for quality report, we have one. We have this batch. The batch is out of field, so we say drawing date is this, and then product readings. For demonstration, let me say like 10. That is 10 degrees, and then humidity we can say it's 2%. It is the initial phase, so you can say like 30%. Then you can write a test notes which would read 30% humidity. And then we continue, and now we can save the report. So once you create the report, you see it over here. Then you can be able to edit the report. We could do like instead of 10, so 11. Then you see the information will be updated over here. Then we have to create an unload report. Now for unload report is after the drying period, which is required for the crop to be considered as have been dried substantially. You come back and you record a batch unload report, maybe for the entire batch or for a section of the batch. So you say select harvest date, then the total weight, you say is 150, and then the drying quality, let's say excellent because it will be excellent. Then the moisture content is 15, 15%. Then we continue. Now here you have the toggle button uh, which prompts you if you want to close the batch. So remember I told you that if this is the first and the final batch you have unloaded, you can close the batch at this point and save the report. So once you save this report, the batch will be marked as completed. So no more action will be taken on this batch, and you will have completed the entire drawing phase from uh, selecting the crop, recording the quality check reports, and also the uh, batch unload reports. So you save the report, and you see that our the unload report will be updated. That's it. It has been updated. Now you see that our batch is completed over here. And you see the drying period is March 26th to March 27th. That is the start date and the end date and the duration here. That marks the end of our demonstration for the new dryers feature. If you have question or would like to know more about the dryers, let me know for the question. And for more information, you can reach out to Stacy and she'll be able to set up a personalized meeting with you so that you guys can carry on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam, for that detailed explanation. So I just want to share for anyone who's interested in the solar dryers, or you'd love to have more, or you'd love to have a personalized experience, just to have a better explanation on the solar dryers. I will be sharing. I will be sharing a link. Just a minute. I will be sharing a link and you can use so I've attached the link there. You can use that link to fill in all the relevant you will be required to fill in some specific information about your farm, what you want to dry, and then from there we will give you a call, we'll set up a meeting, we'll give you a call or set up a meeting so that we can align on the next steps. So ideally that marks the end of the webinar, but before we do so, we just want to know if there's any questions. If anyone wants to know anything, we are happy to address them. Okay, if everyone is okay, a thumbs up will be highly appreciated. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for this session. It was a bit different, but sometimes change is good. If there's any lingering questions you'd love to know, just feel free to reach us directly. You can send us an email at sales@cinepa.io or info@cinepa.io. For anyone interested on the solar dryer, please use the link to submit your contact information and then we'll reach out to you. Otherwise, thank you so much for everyone who joined and be on the lookout for the next webinar and I look forward to meeting all of you. So I wish everyone an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for joining.